Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And today we are going to do something a little bit different. Now, obviously, with Messi going over to MLS, there's a lot more eyes on the MLS, thankfully. And one thing that the MLS has that obviously other countries don't have when it comes to the sport of soccer, football, is the playoff system. Us Americans love playoffs, apparently, even though we don't like the format of the recent MLS playoffs where it's a best of three for the first round. That's absolutely awful. We are going to go ahead and bring the MLS playoff system kind of over towards England, except we're not going to do that best of three crap. It's just a one and done game here. So as you can see on your screen now, we have not the top 20, we have the top 12 in this bracket with first place. This is the current table as we're recording, which is around 9 a.m. my time on Monday, this Monday, so the 26th. So we have the current table. Everton's 10-point reduction got reduced down to 6 points. So now they are back out of the relegation table, or the relegation side. And they're into 15th. You'll see them in a second. But you can see the current Premier League table leaves Liverpool in first, so they get the first seed. Man City get the second seed. Arsenal get the third seed. Aston Villa get the fourth seed, and then so on. So there you can figure out by there. You can see the numbers there. Man United versus Chelsea in the first round with 6 versus 11 is absolutely insane. Now the top 4, they don't have a team right now. That is because we have a Premier League play-in. Kind of what NBA does, kind of what actually MLS does now as well. They have a play-in system for the bottom couple of teams to get into the Premier League or get into the playoff bracket. Now, obviously, there is no playoff bracket really in the Premier League, and there is no way because it'll be normally top 7, top 6, which I could do, but we are going to go ahead and do all 20 teams. So as you can see here, we have the play-in rounds. We have 13th place Crystal Palace taking on 20th place Sheffield United. We have Bournemouth versus Burnley. We have 15th Everton taking on now 18th Luton. So that's insane to even think about. We have 16th Brentford versus 17th Forest, and how this is going to work. Team 1, which is Liverpool, they are going to face the lower seed. So let's just say Sheffield United beat Crystal Palace. Sheffield United will then take on Liverpool in the first round of the actual play-on ends, and so on. Arsenal being third, they will get the third lowest seed. Man City being second, they'll get the second lowest seed, and then Aston Villa will get the fourth lowest seed remaining. So we're going to go and kick it off with the 4 simulations here. We are going to do Crystal Palace versus Sheffield United first, and then if Sheffield United first, we already know the first matchup for the real round, which will be Liverpool versus Sheffield United. If Crystal Palace wins, we're going to have to wait later on to see whether or not Burnley, Luton Town, pretty much everyone is getting the win there, because Crystal Palace could be facing off against Liverpool, or Crystal Palace could be facing all the way down to Aston Villa, which would be better for them facing off against a higher seed or one of the higher seeds in the top 4. So that is pretty much the explanation there. Go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. Let's get into it. And the first matchup is Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace. If Sheffield United win, they take on Liverpool in the first round. Let's see what comes out, and it's actually going to be Sheffield United who wins 2-1. So Sheffield United will take on Liverpool in the first round of the Premier League playoffs. Next up, we have Bournemouth versus Burnley. If Burnley can somehow face off and win this game, they will take on Manchester City in the second seed. Let's see who comes out on top, and it is going to be Bournemouth with the 85th minute winner there. Cook goes ahead and puts Bournemouth through. So Bournemouth is going to have to wait just a couple more rounds to see who they take on. They could be taking on Man City. They could be taking on Aston Villa. Next up, it's Everton 15th out of the relegation zone versus relegation zone now Luton Town. Let's see who comes on top. If Luton win this, they will take on Manchester City in the next round, but they do not. It's going to be Everton to get through. And with Everton winning 1-0 against Luton Town, that knocks off the 18th side, which means we pretty much have the not the play-in bracket, but we pretty much have the bracket settled. 14th place Bournemouth will take on 4th place Aston Villa. 15th place Everton will take on 3rd place Arsenal. And then the winner out of this Brentford versus Forest game will take on 2nd place Manchester City. And here we go. The winner of this will be taking on Manchester City in the playoff bracket, and it's going to be Brentford. They win 3-1, and they will knock off Nottingham Forest, and they will move on to take Manchester City. And this is the playoff bracket fully completed now with the top teams. We have Liverpool versus 20th place Sheffield United. We have 8th place Wolves taking on 9th place Newcastle. 3rd place Arsenal taking on 15th place Everton. We have 6th place taking on against 11th place Chelsea. 2nd in Man City versus 16th in Brentford. 7th in Bournemouth taking on 10th place West Ham. 4th place Aston Villa taking on Bournemouth in 14th. And then Tottenham in 5th taking on 12th in Fulham. We are going to go starting left to right from left down, and then we'll go to the right side of the bracket and go right down. So first off, it's against Liverpool and Sheffield United. It's Liverpool versus Sheffield United. Who's going to come on top? I have a feeling it's
What?
Sheffield United beat Liverpool 2-1. Archer scored in the 45th. Solskjaer equalized in the 64th. And then Brereton Diaz came back with the winner in the 66th. And Sheffield United move on to the quarterfinals of this playoff bracket with the Premier League teams. They knock off first place and favorites, Liverpool. Maybe not favorites. I think Man City is technically favorites. But they knock off Liverpool, the first seed, and they move on into the next round of the playoffs. That is absurd. Next up to take on Sheffield United in the quarterfinals of this playoffs is Newcastle versus Wolves. Now, Newcastle should win this, technically. They have a stronger team on paper and in the game, obviously. So they should win this, but Wolves are technically favorites, and Newcastle do go ahead and get the win. It's a Wilson brace with Longstaff scoring the 39th with Hee Chan, a.k.a. that one Haitian guy. I can't believe Pep said that. A 3-1 win. Next up, we have Arsenal in 3rd place taking on 15th place Everton. Will another play-in team go ahead and knock off one of the top 4? This one I hope not, because as an Arsenal fan, yes, come on. We win 3-1. Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, and Gabriel Jesus. So it's a brace with Jesus with a Zinchenko sandwich in between, and we win 3-1 and move on to the next round of the playoffs. Next up, we're going to actually watch through this match to switch it up here, as it's a Big Six battle with Chelsea taking on Manchester United. The winner of this one will be taking on Arsenal in the next round of this playoffs. Go and leave a like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video so far. Let's get into this game and see who comes out on top. Man United and Ten Hag, or Pochettino's Chelsea, who just lost the cup final to Liverpool. Anthony down the right hand side. Different kits, by the way, because my game crashed, so we had to reset it. Thankfully nothing happened in between those games, but here comes Anthony down the right hand side. Can he create something? Over to Manu into Hoyland into Anthony, and Anthony, the fidget spinner, puts Manchester United ahead. It's 1-0 for you, the Devils. Palmer, Gallagher, Onana makes another save. Go Palmer, this is the last chance. They have to go forward, and they're going backwards. That's game over. Manchester United win 1-0, and they will be taking on Arsenal in the next round. We are now on the right side of the bracket, which means Manchester City versus Brentford. Can the Bees come out on top? No, it's an 89th minute winner for Doku to send Manchester City through to the next round. Holland missed a penalty in the 66th minute. Holland did go ahead and score, though, in the 48th, with Alvarez scoring in the 43rd. Damsgaard and Vissa's 2 goal was not enough for Brentford to get it done, and their Premier League run ends after just one game in the actual bracket. And to take on Manchester City will be either West Ham or Brighton, and it's going to be West Ham. They win 3-1. Bowen in the 2nd minute set the tone from the start of the game. Alvarez doubled it, Paqueta tripled it, and Joao Pedro with the consolation goal in the 76th minute will send Brighton packing home. And West Ham will take on Manchester City. And Aston Villa versus Bournemouth, the last chance for one of the playing teams to knock off a Big Four. We already got Sheffield United knocking off Liverpool. Can Bournemouth knock off Villa? Yes, they can, with the 4-3 winner. 117th minute winner from Tavernier will send Villa packing. And 2 of the top 4 are gone. It's just Arsenal and Man City in the top 4 to compete for this playoffs. Bailey, it started off early with Kluivert, then Diaby, then Bailey took the lead for Aston Villa. Solanke leveled it up in the 89th minute. Then they took the lead quickly after the first half starting extra time with Sensei. Diaby with a quick equalizer there, and then it took them 117 minutes there to score the winner for Tavernier. We were so close to a penalty shootout for the decider there, but Bournemouth knock off Villa and Villa go home. In the last matchup here, it's Tottenham versus Fulham. The winner of this will be taking on Bournemouth in the next round. Who will it be? It will be Tottenham in dominant fashion. 4-0. Udogie with the brace, Sutton with the brace as well. So it's a double bracer with Tottenham winning 4-0, and they will move on to the next round and take on Bournemouth in the quarterfinals. And there we go. We have the quarterfinal matchups here now. It's Newcastle to take on Sheffield United in the quarterfinals. It's Arsenal versus Manchester United, another Big Six battle there. It's a quarterfinal between Manchester City and West Ham. And then Tottenham versus Bournemouth in the other quarterfinals. The winners here will get into the semifinals then to take on the winner in the final. Let me know in the comments who you think out of these 8 teams are going to go ahead and win this whole thing. I have my bets on either City, Arsenal, or Tottenham in all honesty. Maybe even Newcastle as a surprise package there. We are going to go ahead and get it first off here with Newcastle versus Sheffield. Number 9 seed versus the worst team. Number 20, Sheffield United. It's Newcastle versus Sheffield United. Will Sheffield United continue on this run that they've been taking on? They took down the Crystal Palace in the run-in. They took down first seed Liverpool. Can they take down now 19 Newcastle United? The answer is no. Newcastle go ahead and spoil the party over in Sheffield. It's Barnes and Almiron on the score sheet. And they move on to the semifinals and take on either Arsenal or Manchester United. It's Arsenal versus Manchester United. Another little watch along here as it's a Big Six battle. The winner of this will go on into the semifinals and take on Newcastle. Not either. Will take on Newcastle for the chance to go in the final. Gabriel Jesus might be in behind here early. No, Casemiro stops it. Phil Evans is starting for this Arsenal for the United side here. That's insane. Odegaard on the attack early. No. Right hand side. Ben White now in the box. Ben White, he's taking himself off the post. Martinelli shots off the low. Martinelli in the second half into Gabriel Jesus, into Odegaard. He's just going to hold it. That's a great pass to Jesus. And Onana is making saves out of nowhere. Into Delo now. Delo crossed in. It's a terrible cross. And Saka, which had time to control it, will clear it. And we are going to extra time here for the decider to the semifinals. And Jorginho, who comes on for Havertz, is in behind here. Can Jorginho, his first kick of the game, give Arsenal the lead here? 5 minutes into the extra time. And Jorginho has Arsenal currently in the semifinals against Newcastle, who just got demolished 4-1 to Arsenal over the last weekend there. It's Arsenal up 1-0. I mean, this game is over. It's Gabriel Jesus into Trossard, and Trossard to double it. He made it a lot harder for himself. He could have went across the net, but he goes near post. It's 2-0 for Arsenal, and they move on to the semifinals and will take on Newcastle for the chance to take on the final. I told you Arsenal were one of the favorites, especially with Liverpool out. It's Arsenal versus Newcastle. I would have loved for it to be Arsenal versus Liverpool, but they are some bottle jobs. We move on to the next round now. It's Manchester City to take on West Ham in the quarterfinals, and West Ham knock off City. And the favorites are out. Arsenal are your new front runners. West Ham move on to the semifinals and will take on either Tottenham or Brighton, I believe. It's Tottenham versus Bournemouth, not Brighton. Brighton was the other way. It's Tottenham versus Bournemouth. If Tottenham wins this is setting up to be what could be a North London derby in the final if both Arsenal and Tottenham get through. But Arsenal or Tottenham have to get past Bournemouth, and they do. Eric Charleston, 61st minute winner there. Son scored in 22nd. He has now 3 goals in this tournament. The brace in the first game, 1 in this game. And we move on now. It's Tottenham versus West Ham in the semifinals. It's Newcastle versus Arsenal in the other semifinal. And just to confirm it and show you the actual bracket here, it's Arsenal as a 3 seed taking on the 9 seed in Newcastle. And it's Tottenham as a 5th seed taking on the 10th seed in West Ham for the chance to go to the final and take on each other. Can Arsenal take on Tottenham, or will it be Newcastle and West Ham, or Newcastle and Tottenham, or Arsenal and West Ham? Let's see. First off, it's Arsenal versus Newcastle. Arsenal versus Newcastle. Who is going through? Will it be Arsenal or will it be Newcastle? Arsenal win 2-1. Saliba missed. Why is Saliba taking a penalty? He missed a penalty in the 5th minute. Havertz scored in the 16th. Gabriel Jesus doubled in the 66th, which turned out to be the winner, as Wilson scored what will be a consolation goal in the 89th minute there. So Arsenal are your first team into the final of the Premier League playoffs. And can Tottenham win this to make it a full-on North London derby? It's going to be a London derby nonetheless. West Ham's obviously in London. Who is going to be the London team to take on Arsenal? Tottenham or West Ham? And it's going to be West Ham. Son scores again. But it doesn't matter because it's in between Kudus' first goal in the 61st and then Paqueta's winner in the 83rd. So it's going to be Arsenal versus West Ham in the final of the Premier League playoffs. And there we go. The bracket is pretty much filled out. Just one more game left to decide it. It's a championship match. Arsenal as a 3 seed versus a 10th seed West Ham. They took down Brighton. They took down the favorites in Manchester City. That momentum let them take down Tottenham as the 5th seed. Now can they take down what is the favorites in Arsenal? It's Arsenal versus West Ham in the final. Let's go and see how this plays out. It's Arsenal versus West Ham in the final here at Wembley Stadium. 4-minute halves. It is unprofessional. I forgot to change that. I could go change that, but I'm too lazy. Let's go ahead and see who's going to come out on top, either Arsenal or West Ham. Let me know in the comments who you have coming out on top. I have these boys in yellow coming out on top as what now is the favorites to win the Premier League playoffs. Gabriel Jesus, Areola saves it near post. Saka and Jesus, Kai Havertz, Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus. We're right before halftime. He gets sandwiched and loses it. But Saliba wins it back into Gabriel Jesus. Kai Havertz trying to find Jesus again. Won't. Saliba off the corner. Areola saves. Ben White, Odegaard, Gabriel. It's been all Arsenal this entire game. It's Odegaard. It's Havertz. He flicks it up. He volleys it. Areola. Another corner. Saka. Another save from Areola. Havertz, Jesus, Martinelli, Havertz, Odegaard, Areola. Another save from Areola. How? Down to Emerson. Emerson into Souček. Souček cross in. Saliba will head it away. And Trossard will push it further. And Arsenal might be able to hit them on the counterattack here. Bukayo Saka, Jorginho. Go out wide to Ben White. That's a beautiful ball to Ben White. Maybe put it in the air next time. Ben White will slow it down slightly. Rice, Saka, Odegaard. Odegaard in the box. Bukayo Odegaard? Martin Odegaard. Into Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard now. Into Trossard. Trossard to score the winner possibly. He's offside. He's offside. The 85th minute winner there. Arsenal has seen all the glory. He was offside, and he's offside barely. He's offside by a toe. Declan Rice into Trossard, into Jorginho, into Gabriel Jesus. 5 minutes of added time. Don't know where that's come from. Declan Rice, Trossard, Areola saves. Last chance of regular time is Trossard. He has to go forward, in which he does. He finds Zinchenko. Can Arsenal score a winner? Cross comes in, and the ex-Arsenal Mavropanos deflects it away, and we're going to extra time. Arsenal should have won this game 10-12-0. West Ham had one attack that literally came to nothing. Odegaard, Ben White, Gabriel Jesus, Jorginho, Trossard, Gabriel Jesus, he's in behind, he'll pass it to Zinchenko. Why did Gabriel Jesus not just take that for himself? Last chance of the game is Gabriel Jesus, is Jorginho, he'll fight Martin Odegaard in a loaded space. Martin Odegaard to give Arsenal a win. No penalty, shootout needed. Arsenal win it in the 122nd minute. And Martin Odegaard, the club captain, gets the job done, in Arsenal are your Premier League playoff champions. Third place Arsenal win the cup, and third place Arsenal are your Premier League playoff winners. If the Premier League playoffs were ever a thing, this is how it wouldn't go down, because it would be top 7, top 8. But for the sake of it being the whole entire league getting involved, Arsenal go ahead and win it. They mount over all other 20 teams, including first place Liverpool, who got knocked off early to Sheffield United. the worst team in league history. And there you go. There is the final picture of the bracket. Arsenal, they take down 15th place Everton. Then they take down 6th place Man United and follow that up with a win against Newcastle in the semifinals, which will take on West Ham. Their hardest game was that Manchester United game, obviously. A grueler there. I mean, I guess they made it to extra time and scored the winner in the last kick of the game against West Ham. That was so close to going to penalties. But on paper, Arsenal were dominant. I think West Ham had 2 attacks at most against Arsenal in that final there. I was really hoping for Arsenal, Man City, Manchester Derby, possibly with Manchester United and Man City. I was hoping once we got to the semifinal here, that was going to be a North London derby. We don't get that. We did get a big upset, though, with Sheffield United taking down Liverpool, so that is great there. This is the end of the video. If you did enjoy this and wanted me to do this with another league, like maybe the Bundesliga, maybe Ligue 1, Serie A, La Liga, let me know in the comments, and I will do that. Go ahead and leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow for the next episode of Career Mode. Peace out.